Welcome to Read and Learn English. This is a special place where you can enjoy stories and learn English at the same time. We write each story in easy words so you can understand and learn step by step. You do not need to know many English words. Just start reading. You will grow as you read more. Today, you will read the story of a famous woman. Her name was Marilyn Monroe. She was one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. Many people still remember her today. She was beautiful, funny, and strong. But her life was not always easy. She had many hard times, but she also had many dreams. This story will tell you how a small girl named Norma became Marilyn Monroe. You will learn about her early life, her big dreams, her movies, and her struggles. You will see how she never gave up. You will also learn many simple English words and sentences. So, open your mind, enjoy the story, and let's begin this learning journey together. Chapter 1. A little girl named Norma. Once, in a small hospital in Los Angeles, a baby girl was born. The year was 1926. Her name was Norma Jean. She did not know it then, but one day the world would know her as Marilyn Monroe. Norma's mother was not very well. She could not take care of a baby. Norma did not know her father. Because of this, she did not live with her mother. Instead, she stayed with other families. These homes were called foster homes. She lived in many different houses. Some people were kind, some were not. Norma was a quiet child. She liked to read books and write stories. She also liked to watch movies. In the movies, people smiled and danced. They wore pretty clothes. They looked happy. Norma wanted to be like them. She wanted a better life. She wanted to be loved. In school, Norma was shy. She did not talk much, but teachers saw she was smart. She learned quickly. She worked hard. She always hoped her life would get better. Norma moved many times. Each time she had to say goodbye to people she knew. It was hard. She felt lonely. But she stayed strong inside. She did not stop dreaming. She looked up at the stars and believed something good was waiting for her. When she was a teenager, she lived with her aunt. Life was a little better there. She went to school. She made some friends. She also started to grow into a beautiful young woman. People noticed her smile. They noticed her eyes. She had something special. One day, a man with a camera saw her walking. He thought she looked like a model. He asked if he could take her picture. Norma said yes. That one photo started her new life. Norma's picture was printed in magazines. More people saw her face. They liked her look. They wanted to know more about her. Soon, she got a new job as a model. She felt excited, but she knew it was only the beginning. She was still Norma Jean, but soon she would become someone new, a name the whole world would remember, Marilyn Monroe. Norma's young life was not easy. She had no father, and her mother could not care for her. She lived in many places. She felt alone many times, but she never stopped dreaming. She believed in herself. This is how the story of Marilyn Monroe began, not as a star, but as a little girl named Norma. Chapter 2. Life in Foster Homes. Norma's life was not easy. When she was very young, her mother became sick. She could not take care of Norma. Norma did not have a father, so she had no parents to live with. She had to live in many different homes. These homes were called foster homes. A foster home is a place where children live when their parents cannot take care of them. Norma moved from one home to another. Sometimes she lived with nice people, but sometimes she lived in homes where she did not feel safe. She felt very alone and scared. In school, Norma was quiet. She did not talk much, but she liked to read books. Books helped her dream. She dreamed of a better life. She wanted to be happy. She wanted to be loved. Norma often felt sad, but she also learned how to be strong. She learned how to take care of herself. Life was hard, but she never gave up. She kept hoping for a better future. One day, a family took her in. They were kind. Norma stayed with them for a short time. Then she had to move again. She changed homes many times. Even when things were bad, Norma smiled. She believed one day things would be better. She wanted to be someone important. She wanted to be seen and heard. This dream stayed in her heart. Norma's time in foster homes was not easy. But these years taught her something big. They taught her to be strong, brave, and never stop dreaming. Chapter 3. Dreaming of Fame. Norma was still a young girl, but she had big dreams. She wanted to be more than just a girl in foster homes. She wanted to be famous. She saw pictures of movie stars in magazines. They wore pretty clothes, smiled at the camera, and looked so happy. Norma looked at those stars and thought, "One day, I want to be like them." She dreamed about being on the screen. She wanted people to know her name. She wanted people to see her and say, "She is special." When she was alone, she sometimes looked into a mirror. She smiled and tried to talk like a movie star. She practiced walking like them. She dreamed of lights, cameras, and crowds. These dreams made her feel strong. Norma also loved movies. She watched many films. She studied the actors. She listened to how they spoke. She wanted to learn. Even when she was sad, dreaming made her happy. It gave her hope. At school, Norma was not the best student, but she was smart in other ways. She watched people, learned from them, and kept dreaming. She knew one day she would leave her hard life behind. Her dream was simple, but big: to become a star. Chapter 4. Becoming a model. Norma grew up and became a young woman. She was very beautiful. She had soft blonde hair and a lovely smile. People started to notice her. One day, a photographer saw Norma. He said, "You should be a model." Norma was shy, but she said yes. She needed work, and this was a good chance. At first, she did small jobs. She took photos for newspapers and magazines. She posed in nice clothes and smiled at the camera. People liked her pictures. They said she looked like a star. Norma worked hard. She was always on time. She listened and learned. She didn't just want to be pretty. She wanted to be great. More jobs came. Her pictures were on many covers. Everyone started talking about her. Norma liked modeling, but she wanted more. She wanted to act. She wanted to speak in front of a camera, not just smile. She knew modeling was only the first step. Still, modeling helped her grow. She learned how to be in front of people. She learned how to move and how to look strong. Every photo shoot brought her closer to her dream. This was the start of her new life. Chapter 5. A New Name. Marilyn Monroe. Norma's modeling career was going well. Many people knew her face, but if she wanted to be a movie star, she needed something more. She needed a name people would remember. One day, a movie company gave her a small role. They liked her look, and they saw her talent. But they said, You need a new name for the screen. Together they chose a name, Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn was a pretty name. It sounded like a movie star. Monroe was her mother's family name. Norma liked this name. It felt special. Now she was not just Norma. She was Marilyn Monroe. With her new name, Marilyn started to feel different. She walked taller. She smiled brighter. She worked harder. She wanted to become great. Marilyn took acting lessons. She practiced her voice. She watched other actors and learned from them. She wanted to be more than just a pretty face. Her new name gave her power. It gave her a new start. People began to notice her more. They said, "Who is this new star?" Marilyn Monroe was ready for the world, and the world was ready for her. Chapter 6. First Steps in Hollywood. Marilyn Monroe was now in Hollywood. She was still learning, but she was ready. She wanted to be in films. She wanted to act, smile, and shine on the screen. At first, she got small roles. These parts were short, but she was happy. She was in real movies now. She played a nurse, a girl at a party, or someone walking by. She did not speak much, but people saw her. Marilyn worked hard. She came early to the studio. She stayed late. She listened to the director. She practiced every line. She wanted to get better every day. Sometimes she was scared. The studio lights were bright. The camera was big. Many people were watching. But she kept going. She told herself, "I can do it." Marilyn also took acting classes. She learned how to show feelings. She learned how to cry, laugh, and be strong. She studied her lines every night. She also changed her look. She dyed her hair a lighter blonde. She learned how to wear makeup like a star. People started to notice her more and more. These small steps were just the beginning. But each one brought her closer to her dream. Marilyn was on her way. Chapter 7. A Star on the Rise. Marilyn was getting better at acting. She now had a few bigger roles. People started to say, "Who is this young woman?" Her name was in newspapers and film magazines. She played funny and sweet girls. She also played smart women. People loved her smile, but they also saw her heart. She was more than just pretty. She had talent. Directors liked her. She listened well. She gave her best in every scene. She always said thank you and was kind to everyone. This made people want to work with her again. One movie helped her a lot. She played a fun and cute girl. The movie was a big hit. People left the cinema smiling and talking about her. She was becoming a real star. Marilyn still felt nervous sometimes. She was new, and the world was big. But she stayed strong. She believed in herself. Every day she said, "I am learning. I am growing." More roles came. Bigger films, bigger crowds. She went to parties, wore lovely dresses, and took pictures with fans. Everyone knew her name now. She was not just Marilyn Monroe. She was a star on the rise, and the world was watching. Chapter 8. Famous for her smile. Marilyn's smile was special. It was bright, warm, and full of light. When she smiled, people smiled too. It made them feel happy. It made them love her more. Magazines wrote stories about her. "Who is the girl with the golden hair and the magic smile?" they asked. Her face was on many covers. People bought those magazines just to see her. In movies, her smile made every scene better. Even when she was not speaking, her smile said a lot. It told the story. It made people feel close to her. Photographers loved working with Marilyn. She knew how to pose. She made every photo look beautiful. She laughed often. She made people feel good. But Marilyn's smile was not only for the camera. She smiled at the people she worked with. She smiled at fans. She smiled at children and old people. She showed kindness in every smile. Behind that smile, she worked very hard. She still took acting classes. She still read her lines. She still wanted to learn more. Marilyn knew that her smile opened doors, but it was her heart, her work, and her kindness that made her a true star. Chapter 9. The Blonde Bombshell Image. Marilyn Monroe became known as the Blonde Bombshell. She had bright blonde hair, sparkling eyes, and a beautiful figure. People started to see her as a symbol of beauty and charm. She was famous for her looks, but there was more to her than just her appearance. The media loved her. Photographers took many pictures of her. They always wanted the best shot of her smiling or posing. Marilyn was always in the news. Magazines wrote about her new movies, her dresses, and her beauty. They often said that she was the most beautiful woman in Hollywood. But Marilyn did not always like the blonde bombshell image. She felt that people only saw her as a pretty face. She wanted people to see her as an actress with talent and feelings. She did not want to be known only for her looks. She wanted people to know her for her acting skills, too. Marilyn worked hard to show her talent in every movie. She wanted to prove that she was more than just a pretty face. She studied acting, and she wanted to take on different roles. Even though the world saw her as the blonde bombshell, she worked every day to be a serious actress. Despite this, the image stuck. She was known as the beautiful woman with the perfect smile and the perfect figure. The world loved her for it, and Marilyn learned to accept it. Chapter 10. Singing and Dancing in Films. Marilyn Monroe was not only an actress, but she was also a talented singer and dancer. In many of her films, she had the chance to sing and dance. This made her even more famous. People loved watching her sing and move on the screen. One of her most famous songs was "Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend" from the movie Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. In this scene, Marilyn wore a pink dress and danced with a group of men. The song became a big hit. It showed her talent and her beauty, and it made people fall in love with her even more. Marilyn was not just acting in films, she was entertaining the world with her voice and movements. She made every song and dance look so easy. When she danced, it seemed like the whole world was watching her. She was full of energy and joy. However, singing and dancing were not always easy for Marilyn. Sometimes she was nervous. She wanted everything to be perfect. But she always worked hard to get better. She practiced a lot. She worked with talented musicians and dancers. They helped her become a better singer and dancer. Her songs became some of the most famous in Hollywood. Marilyn was not just a pretty face in movies, she was a performer who could sing, dance, and act. This made her even more loved by her fans. Chapter 11. Her big hit, Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Marilyn Monroe's movie, Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, was a big success. It made her even more famous. In this movie, she played a fun and sweet character named Lorelei Lee. Lorelei was a gold digger who loved diamonds and rich men. She was funny, charming, and always smiling. One of the most famous parts of the movie was the song "Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend." In the scene, Marilyn wore a beautiful pink dress and sang with a group of men. The song became very famous. It is still remembered today as one of her best performances. The movie was a huge hit, and Marilyn became a star. People loved her character. She was funny and beautiful, and she knew how to make people laugh. Her charm and energy on screen made the movie a success. After Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, Marilyn was seen as one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. She had proven that she could make people laugh, sing, and dance. She had become the blonde bombshell everyone loved. But even with all the success, Marilyn always wanted to do more. She wanted to show the world that she was more than just a pretty face. She wanted to be known for her talent, her hard work, and her heart. Chapter 12. A Voice of Her Own. Marilyn Monroe had always been more than just a pretty face. As she grew in her career, she wanted to have more control over her life and work. She wanted to be seen as an actress with a unique voice, not just a character in a movie. At the time, Hollywood was controlled by big studios. Actors and actresses often had little control over the roles they played. But Marilyn was determined to change this. She wanted to choose the roles she played, and she wanted to act in a way that felt true to herself. To do this, Marilyn started her own company, which would give her more freedom in her work. This was a bold move for someone in her position. It was not easy to go against the big Hollywood studios, but Marilyn believed in herself. She believed she could do more than what people expected of her. She also worked with new directors and producers who shared her vision. These people helped her choose roles that showed her acting skills and her true personality. She no longer wanted to be just the blonde bombshell. She wanted to be a serious actress. Even though this was a difficult journey, Marilyn's determination to find her voice in Hollywood showed how strong she was. She worked hard to make her dreams come true. Over time, her efforts paid off, and she became an actress known for both her beauty and her acting skills. Chapter 13. Learning to Act Better. Marilyn Monroe was always learning and growing as an actress. While she was very popular in her early films, she knew she had more to offer. She wanted to be known not just for her beauty, but also for her acting talent. Marilyn took acting lessons from some of the best teachers in Hollywood. She wanted to improve her skills. She studied how to express deep emotions, how to make her characters feel real, and how to make her performances unforgettable. One of the things Marilyn worked on was how to act naturally in front of the camera. Sometimes she felt nervous on set. She wanted everything to be perfect, but she also knew she had to let go of her fear and be free in her acting. She practiced her lines and worked with other actors to make each scene feel real. Many people did not know how hard she worked to improve. They only saw her on the screen, playing beautiful characters. But behind the scenes, Marilyn was always practicing and learning. She wanted to give her best performance every time. Her hard work and dedication made a difference. She began to be recognized as a talented actress, not just a pretty face. She proved that even the most famous stars can continue to learn and grow. Chapter 14. Starting Her Own Company. As Marilyn Monroe's career grew, so did her desire for more control over her work. She didn't want to just act in movies chosen for her by big studios. She wanted to make decisions about her own career. So Marilyn took a bold step and started her own production company. This was a huge decision. Most actors and actresses at the time worked for the big studios, where the studio bosses made all the important decisions. But Marilyn believed she could do more. She wanted to have the freedom to choose her own roles and be in charge of her own films. Her production company was called Marilyn Monroe Productions. It allowed her to work on projects that were important to her. She could now work with the best directors and writers who shared her vision for acting. This company gave her the power to choose roles that helped her grow as an actress. Starting her own company was not easy. There were many challenges, and Marilyn faced a lot of pressure. But she didn't give up. She was determined to succeed on her own terms. Her company helped her create movies that showed her true talents as an actress, not just a pretty face. Through her company, Marilyn was able to take control of her career and make her own decisions. It was a powerful step toward finding her voice and making her mark in Hollywood. Even though there were many difficulties, starting her own company showed her courage and determination. Chapter 15. Marilyn and Her Marriages. Marilyn Monroe's life was not only about fame and movies. She also faced challenges in her personal life, especially when it came to her relationships. She had 3 marriages, but none of them lasted forever. Her first marriage was to a man named James Dougherty. She was just a young girl when they married, and the marriage didn't last long. Marilyn was still finding herself and her dreams. She wanted more than what her small-town life could offer, so the marriage ended in divorce. Her second marriage was to baseball legend Joe DiMaggio. Their relationship was very public, and people loved the idea of a famous actress marrying a famous athlete. However, this marriage was also troubled. Joe was protective of Marilyn and didn't like how much attention she got from the media. Marilyn, on the other hand, felt she couldn't fully be herself in the relationship. They divorced after just 9 months. Her third marriage was to playwright Arthur Miller. This marriage seemed like a good match because both Marilyn and Arthur were creative people. However, their relationship also faced struggles. Marilyn felt lonely at times, and Arthur's work kept him busy. They separated after a few years, and their marriage ended in divorce. Although Marilyn's marriages were full of love and heartbreak, they shaped her life. She wanted to be loved and cared for, but fame and her busy career made it hard for her to find true happiness in her personal life. Despite these struggles, Marilyn continued to shine on the big screen. Chapter 16. Beauty and Struggles. Marilyn Monroe was known for her beauty, but behind her smile and glamorous looks, she faced many personal struggles. Many people only saw her as a beautiful woman, but she was much more than that. Marilyn had a complicated life, and she worked hard to be the best she could be. She often struggled with feeling lonely and misunderstood. While her fame brought her many fans, it also brought her pressure. People expected her to always look perfect, and she felt she could never truly be herself. This pressure made her feel sad and isolated at times. Marilyn also struggled with her mental health. She faced feelings of anxiety and depression, which were difficult to talk about during her time. She wanted to be happy and successful, but sometimes the weight of her fame made her feel trapped. She often sought help from doctors and therapists, but it was hard for her to find peace. Despite these struggles, Marilyn never gave up. She continued to work hard and gave her best performances in every movie. She wanted to show the world that she was more than just a pretty face. She was an actress with talent and a woman with feelings. Her beauty might have been what people first saw, but her heart and mind were just as important. Chapter 17. Behind the Camera Smile. Marilyn Monroe's smile was one of the most famous things about her. She had a way of making everyone feel happy when she smiled. But behind that smile, there was more to her story. Marilyn often had to hide her true feelings when the camera was rolling. When she was in front of the camera, Marilyn worked hard to make the audience smile. She gave her best performance, always looking glamorous and cheerful. But behind the scenes, she struggled with many challenges. She was not always happy, and she felt a lot of pressure to be perfect. Many people didn't know that Marilyn had a difficult time with her confidence. Even though she was one of the most famous women in the world, she often felt insecure. She worried about her looks and her ability to live up to the expectations of others. This made her feel lonely at times, as she couldn't always share her feelings with those around her. But Marilyn never showed these struggles to the world. She kept her smile and her charm, always giving her best to the fans who loved her. She wanted to be seen as the happy, beautiful woman everyone admired. Behind the camera, however, Marilyn was just like any other person, facing challenges and trying to find happiness. Her story is a reminder that even the most beautiful people have struggles, and that it is okay to show both the good and the bad sides of life. Marilyn Monroe was more than just a smile on the big screen. She was a complex woman with dreams, fears, and a heart full of emotions. Chapter 18. Fighting for Respect. Marilyn Monroe was not just a pretty face. She was an actress who worked hard to prove her talent and deserve respect. However, many people in Hollywood did not take her seriously at first. They saw her as just a blonde bombshell and nothing more. But Marilyn wanted to be known as an actress with skill, not just beauty. She often faced challenges on set. Sometimes, the directors would not give her the roles she wanted, and she felt she was treated unfairly. Marilyn was tired of playing the same kind of character, the dumb blonde or the sexy woman. She wanted to show everyone that she was more than that. To earn respect, Marilyn took her acting seriously. She studied hard, worked with the best teachers, and always gave her best in every movie. Slowly, people began to notice her talent. She started getting more serious roles that showed her acting abilities, and she earned more respect in Hollywood. Marilyn's determination to be taken seriously is a lesson for everyone. She showed that beauty alone is not enough. Hard work, dedication, and fighting for respect are important to succeed, no matter the challenges you face. She became more than just an image. She became an actress who earned her place in history. Chapter 19. A Style Icon Forever. Marilyn Monroe was not just a great actress, she was also a style icon. Her fashion choices, hair, makeup, and overall look became famous around the world. Many people tried to copy her style, and she became known for her glamorous and timeless beauty. Her most famous look was her white dress in the movie The 7-Year Itch, where her dress blew up as she stood over a subway vent. This image became one of the most famous moments in movie history. Marilyn's platinum blonde hair, bright red lips, and curvy figure were unique, and people admired her for her boldness and confidence. But Marilyn didn't just follow trends, she set them. She worked with designers to create looks that made her stand out. She knew how to use fashion to express herself, and this helped her become one of the most famous women in the world. Even today, Marilyn's style continues to inspire people. Her elegance and grace are still remembered, and many modern celebrities look to her for fashion inspiration. Marilyn Monroe's style is more than just clothing. It's a symbol of beauty, confidence, and timeless glamour. She showed that true style is about more than just looking good. It's about feeling confident in who you are. Chapter 20: Famous Friends and Powerful People. Throughout her career, Marilyn Monroe met many famous people. She worked with talented actors, directors, and musicians. But some of her most famous friendships were with powerful people in Hollywood and beyond. One of Marilyn's famous friends was Frank Sinatra. They became close in the 1950s, and they were often seen together at parties and events. Marilyn also had relationships with several important men, including the famous President John F. Kennedy and his brother Robert. These relationships were always in the spotlight and often created controversy. Despite the attention they received, Marilyn remained focused on her career and her desire to be taken seriously as an actress. Marilyn also had powerful women in her life who supported her. One of her closest friends was the actress Jane Russell, who starred with her in the film Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Jane was a strong woman who stood by Marilyn, offering advice and support throughout their careers. But Marilyn's relationships with famous people were not always easy. Many of them, like her relationships with the Kennedy brothers, were complicated and filled with drama. Still, she continued to navigate her way through Hollywood, learning from the people she met along the way. Marilyn Monroe's friendships with powerful people in Hollywood showed that she was not just an actress or a model. She was a woman who knew how to connect with others and make her mark on the world. Her relationships with these famous figures were a big part of her life, but they were just one part of the story. Marilyn's true legacy remains her talent, beauty, and the way she became an icon forever. Chapter 21: Her Last Movie. Marilyn Monroe's last movie was The Misfits, which was released in 1961. It was a different kind of movie for Marilyn. It showed her in a more serious role, and many people thought her acting was amazing. The movie was filmed in the hot desert, and Marilyn had a hard time because of the weather. She was very tired, and sometimes she was not feeling well. But she did her best to finish the movie. In The Misfits, Marilyn played a character who was looking for a new life. It was a part that showed a deeper side of her. People could see that she was more than just the blonde bombshell she had been in many other films. This movie was a big moment in her career because it showed that Marilyn could act in serious, dramatic roles, not just comedies or musicals. Sadly, Marilyn never had the chance to act in more movies after The Misfits. She passed away soon after the film was finished. But even though she didn't live to see its release, this movie remains an important part of her legacy. It showed the world the true talent of Marilyn Monroe and how much she had grown as an actress. Chapter 22: A Sad Goodbye. On August 5, 1962, Marilyn Monroe was found dead at the age of 36. The news of her death shocked the world. People were heartbroken because Marilyn had been a part of their lives for so long. She had brightened up the big screen and became an inspiration to many. But now, she was gone. There were many rumors about how Marilyn died. Some people said it was an accident, while others believed it was something more mysterious. Marilyn's death was never fully explained, and it left many questions unanswered. Despite this, what mattered most was the sadness that came with losing someone who had brought so much joy to the world. Her death marked the end of an era. It was a sad goodbye for her fans, friends, and everyone who had admired her. Marilyn Monroe was no longer here, but her memory would live on forever. Her legacy was too strong to ever be forgotten, and people continued to remember her as one of the greatest icons of Hollywood. Chapter 23. The legend lives on. Even though Marilyn Monroe passed away many years ago, her legend still lives on. She remains one of the most famous and beloved stars in Hollywood history. Her movies continue to be watched by people all over the world, and her image is seen in magazines, advertisements, and on the internet. Marilyn's name is known to everyone, whether they have seen her movies or not. She is a symbol of beauty, glamour, and style. But she is also remembered for her talent, her hard work, and her struggle to be taken seriously as an actress. Marilyn's life has been the subject of many books, documentaries, and movies. People are still fascinated by her story and the mystery that surrounds her. Her personal life, her rise to fame, and her tragic end have all become part of the story that keeps Marilyn alive in the hearts of millions. She may not have lived a long life, but the impact she made during her time on Earth was huge. Her name will always be remembered, and her legacy will continue to inspire new generations of people. Marilyn Monroe is not just a star from the past. She is an icon who will never be forgotten. Chapter 24. What We Learn from Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe's life teaches us many important lessons. She showed us that beauty is not the only thing that matters. Even though she was famous for her looks, she worked hard to prove that she was talented and had a lot to offer. She fought for respect in a world that often underestimated her. Marilyn also teaches us about the importance of self-confidence. She knew that her image was often used by others, but she also knew her worth. She believed in herself and her abilities even when others didn't. This is something we can all learn from. Believing in yourself is the key to success. Another lesson from Marilyn is the importance of following your dreams. She always wanted to be a great actress, and she never gave up on that dream. Even when times were tough, she kept working hard to reach her goals. Marilyn's story reminds us that we should never stop pursuing our dreams, no matter how difficult the road may be. Finally, Marilyn's life teaches us about the power of kindness and generosity. Despite her fame and beauty, she was known for her kindness to others. She cared about her friends and helped them whenever she could. This is a quality that makes her not only a star, but also a beautiful person on the inside. Marilyn Monroe's life was not perfect, but it was full of lessons that we can all learn from. She showed the world that it's not just about how we look. It's about who we are and how we treat others. Marilyn may be gone, but the lessons she taught us will live on forever. Ending. The blonde bombshell of Hollywood. Marilyn Monroe's life was a whirlwind of fame, beauty, and talent. She captured the hearts of millions with her smile, her acting, and her unforgettable presence on the big screen. But behind the glamorous image, Marilyn faced many struggles and challenges. Despite these hardships, she managed to achieve greatness, becoming one of the most iconic figures in Hollywood history. Her journey wasn't easy. Marilyn was more than just a pretty face. She was a woman who fought for respect, for her voice to be heard, and for the opportunity to prove herself as a serious actress. She took risks, faced difficulties, and overcame obstacles that many others could not. Yet, her story ended far too soon, leaving the world with questions and a sense of loss. But Marilyn's legacy lives on. Her name continues to be a symbol of beauty, strength, and resilience. Her films are still enjoyed today, and her story continues to inspire people around the world. Marilyn Monroe taught us that it's important to follow our dreams, believe in ourselves, and never stop fighting for what we want. Her life reminds us that no matter how many challenges we face, we can always rise above them with determination, courage, and kindness. Though she may be gone, Marilyn Monroe will never be forgotten. Her legend will continue to shine brightly, a beacon for those who dare to dream big and chase after their goals. She may have been the blonde bombshell of Hollywood, but she will always be remembered as much more than that. An icon, a trailblazer, and a woman who lived her life on her own terms. Marilyn's story will forever remain an inspiration for generations to come.